Are we ready, Jay?
Yes, we're ready.
Are we doing a 3, 2, 1?
No, you're already rolling.
I'm already rolling. rolling. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Sally Wantz, and it's a pleasure to be with you here today. At this time, please check your cell phone devices to ensure they're off. Rhema. And or on silent vibration mode, okay? We're so grateful you're with us this morning for a very thought-provoking message titled Church and State. Now, this may not be the most uplifting holiday sermon you're going to hear, but I'm telling you, it's going to give you lots to think about, okay? It's from our very special Unitarian Universalist minister, Reverend Sarah Skochko. Sarah was born and raised in South Jersey. She attended Meadville Lombard Theological School and now lives in Austin, Texas, where we're happy to report she serves as a hospital chaplain. She came to us from Eugene many years ago and was a guest speaker, and when she got her reverendship, she moved to Austin to be with the church down there. COVID hit, and now she's with the hospital as a chaplain, so we wish her well. So we just finished our Thanksgiving holiday filled with gratitude for friends and family, and let us continue that gratitude for others who came before us, the first inhabitants of this land where we are, the Sayusla Indians. Let us honor with thanks to the members of the Sayusla tribe, past, present, and future. Let us learn from their ways and strive to leave this land, this place, better each and every day.
Oh.
Ho. We're going to officially open our service by singing Sound of Music.
Everybody know the words?
Hills are alive. Spirit of Life, how about that? It's number 123 in your hymnal if you need the words and the music. Tubi's going to lead us. It's Spirit of Life. We ask that you rise as you are able, and let's sing Spirit of Life.
I'm not sure it's the right song. Did you need me to sing Silent Night? Spirit of life, come unto me, sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me. Come to me. Come to me. Come to me.
Hey.
Thank you, Tubia. So, do we have any guests here this morning for the first time? I know Jody's been here before.
I have.
Did you get one of my books?
What?
Did you get one of the...
I did.
Okay. Any other guests for the first time? No? Wow. Okay, so we're all oldies but goodies. I love that. Following today's service, Catherine, will you be doing spiritual mind treatment still? In the library?
Yes.
So if you would like to sit with Catherine and just talk, she'll walk you through the process if you're new to it. So join Catherine in the library. And we're going to have a celebration. We're going to be decorating our holiday food tree. You can see it's all lit up over there. Yay! Yay to whoever brought that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know Xana has a message, and then I want to just share a message from the board. A decision has been made that starting now and going forward, we're going to ask that you keep all beverages and food to yourself, but not in this sanctuary. So, and the reason is, you gotta take off your mask to drink it. You gotta take your mask off to eat it. And we want to be fully masked at all times unless you're behind here. So we ask that you, if you brought any beverage or food today, just leave it untouched until we're done with service and then enjoy that outside, okay? So thank you for understanding. And let's look at the program. I ran out of printer ink this morning, so hopefully many of you got the program. But we have some things coming up. And what do we have coming up? I've got one program here, just as a reminder. Deadline for the newsletter submission, December 1st. The fog group is going to hike on December 3rd, going to Cape Perpetua. That's a great area to go. Sunday service next week is with Dean Schrock, titled Opening to Joy. And that is the theme for our whole entire month of December. And then meditation class titled Connecting with Your Soul with Dean Schrock on December 7th. There is a new Zoom link for that Connecting with Soul, as well as Ruth Miller's Soul Matters workshop. We have a new link to Zoom. It will be in the e-blast coming out, and reminders as best we can. So look for that new link, okay? And again, say afterwards, we've got a holiday tree. We're going to decorate it. So if you brought some decorations, please stay. And I've got mine in the back. I'm ready to put it up there. Woo, I'm so excited. And also, I just want to celebrate those people who have birthdays in November that we might have forgotten about. Starting with Tuvia Chai. Hi. I keep saying Chai. It's not tea. Hi. Lori Severance. Oh, Rayma, when's your birthday?
November 19th.
Woo! 11/19, Rayma.
Yeah.
Xana just had a birthday, and upcoming is Ann Lathrop. Does anybody else have a birthday in November? Yes? David, when?
November 7th.
All right. Have you filled out a guest registry?
I think I did.
All right, well then, okay. We'll make sure we get you noted, okay? So those are birthdays. So happy birthday, everybody, in November. Are there any other announcements? You've got yours, your clipboard, so let's go. She's got a clipboard, so be careful.
Be careful, I've got a clipboard. Thank you all who signed up to be greeters. I so appreciate it. And guess what? There's still plenty of opportunity to do that. We're good until the 9th of January. After that, I need more greeters. I have added to the clipboard a bunch of copies of duties.
Duties?
Yeah, duties of the greeters, because I realize that there's a little more to it than just standing at the door, which is the fun part. But not bad, not a lot. But I wanted to make it real clear. So Sally and I went over this, what you're expected to do as a greeter. And I put my phone number on here, so if anything happens, you can't be here, and you can't find someone to substitute for you, then definitely give me a call and we'll work it out. But I'm going to pass it around again so that you can plan way ahead for January, okay? It'll be here. What?
Put that page on top.
That's probably a good idea. I've done this before. You have? A few times? Okay. I'll put this one on the top so you can sign up.
But I also noticed that said the 22nd, that says the 16th, so is that out of order?
No, this is the year.
Oh, 2022.
Yeah. I know more than Sally.
And for those of you who are watching this virtually in the comfort of your own home with a cup of coffee or Bloody Mary, you too can sign up to be a greeter. Okay? So just write back to us and let us know you want to participate. That would be fabulous. Other announcements. Hanukkah begins tonight. Yay! Tuvia has a special Hanukkah song to share with us a little bit later, and we hope you enjoy that. And remember, you're going to find all the information you need on our website as far as events that are coming up. So look at that. And remember, we're recording the whole service, right? So if you come up forward and talk to us, you're going to be on camera. So if that's not something you want, we will bring the microphone to you, and you won't have to, be recorded. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Edie, did you have something to share under announcements? No. Oh, Fred. Fred, come forward. You look just like Edie without my glasses on. God love you, Fred.
That was actually a high compliment. Thank you. I just wanted to let everybody know that thanks to Foof, whom I'm very grateful, the Zen Buddhist meditation group is going to hold its first in-person meditation opportunity here at Foof on December the 8th. It's the observation of the, or observance of the Buddha's enlightenment. And there are announcements on the back table. And for those of you who are interested in silent meditation, you might want to give us a try. Come to our observance, and you will be very, very welcome. December the 8th, starting at 9 o'clock, here at Foof. And it will be on Zoom.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, thank you. And Edie.
Yes, I don't need the microphone.
Yeah,
I think
we-
you can probably
We
hear
want to
me.
get it out, we want to get it for posterity.
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 I just want to tell you that you were gracious and beautiful last week when I flooded with emotion. And I have to say, that's why I came, because I wanted your love and support, because that's what I needed. So keep that in mind, that some of us come, that's exactly what we need. And thank you, all of you, specifically, because it was kind. And I scooted out of here because I was afraid that I would leak on the floor.
You know, the beauty of this fellowship is that we could and hopefully do feel safe enough to come in and share what's going on in our hearts and minds, as painful as it might be or whatever. So I'm honored that you would share with such love, Edie. And I trust your daughter is recuperating, getting better and stronger after that tragedy. Yes?
Yes, she is.
Good, good.
She's looking for a therapist, as am I, that does EMDR.
Yeah.
So,
Well, she's still in our thoughts, okay? Okay. So I invite Ashley forward. We have a new clicker to light our flame. She's received her instructions. So anybody who's brave enough to do this each week, I will make sure you know how to use this. This has been donated by Jennifer. She bought 2 of these for us because they're so easy to use. They're computer generated, you charge them up, then you click it forward to turn on the blue lights, and then hit the little button, and it's got C. Thank you very much. Let's light the flame. Look how it's done. That's it. I'll take it back now. And she didn't turn it off, but I will. Thank you. So this chalice lighting, these words are from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. If not the eye was like the sun, it could not see the sun's majestic shine. If God's magic was in everyone, we could rejoice over anything divine. These next words come from Dorothea Kaufman, who provided this as the 212th monthly International Council of UU's chalice lighting. From the bottom of my existence, I am pervaded with light energy, shining colors to my eye, warmth to my skin, inspiration to my soul. In this unity of creative sparks and sparkling creation, life unfolds. Let us open our senses to the light within and around us and send it out with shining examples into the world. This reading, I think, again, is very apropos for Sarah's talk, which I said to you earlier. It's a pretty powerful message, and I think if we can keep shining our light, doing our work, I think we can get to where she's asking us to get with this church and state thing. So I asked Xana to come forward. We have a responsive reading. You should have a half sheet of paper in your hymnal. with the responsive reading. She'll read the first line, you read the big bold area. Does anybody need a copy to read along?
Let religion be to us life and joy.
Let it be a voice of renewing challenge to the best we have and may be. Let it be a call to generous action.
Let religion be to us a dissatisfaction with things that are, which bids us serve more eagerly the true and the right.
Let it be the sorrow that opens for us the way of sympathy, understanding, and service to suffering humanity.
Let religion be to us the wonder and lure of that which is only partly known and understood.
An eye that glories in nature's majesty and beauty, and a heart that rejoices in deeds of kindness and of courage.
Let religion be to us security and serenity because of its truth and beauty, and because of the enduring worth and power of the loyalties which it engenders. Let it be to us hope and purpose and a discovering of opportunities to express our best through daily tasks.
Religion uniting us with all that is admirable in human beings everywhere, holding before our eyes a prospect of a better life for humankind, which each may help to make actual.
And so it is.
Catherine, I think, has some joys and concerns. Catherine, I have one that I want to share. I think I left you a note there. Come on forward.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Morning.
This is the time of the service where we share our joys and concerns. I know I've said this before, but especially during this holiday season, take a chance to reach out to someone in our community who may be suffering. Or just reach out in friendship to someone you may not have considered before. Holidays can bring up unexpected memories of grief that can stop one in their tracks. A kind word or just taking the time to listen without having to fix anything can be invaluable to another. And those of you experiencing those unexpected or overwhelming feelings, there is no shame, even if these feelings are decades old. Take the chance to reach out for help. Call the person who calls you on their care committee list, or call me. My number is on the Facebook page, correct? Yes.
Facebook page?
Or the website. It's on the website. It's also on the back of the sermon. Okay. If you have something to share today, please line up around this side. Sally will hand you the microphone and drop a shell into the cleansing water.
I know Diana and Ashley have something to share. You can take the short.
Anyone else?
Except for me. Jay has one. You want to come forward, Jay? Or I'll do while you're talking there. So last week I put out an APB, not knowing what would happen, to someone who might help us clean our windows. And the person wrote back and said, well, I don't think they really need it right now. Call me next year after you finish your remodel. Then she called back and said, no, I think this is a gift I want to give you. So Connie Spinner came and cleaned all of our windows last week and donated that to us. So I have a thank you card. If you'd like to sign it, just sign your name and say thanks. I'm going to pass it around and then I'll send it off to her. And maybe we'll send her a gift card to Dutch Bros or something as a thank you. So this is where, I don't know, Spirit answers prayers that you just don't even know are happening.
All the time, Sally.
And I'm going to piggyback on that with Connie. I happened to stop by just by per chance to put up these speakers, get them out of the way.
Thank
And
you.
Connie was here, and she was out washing on the outside windows, and I've met Connie before because her son, Mike, is a fire captain. And anyway, not only did she do I mean, when you got to see the transformation in process, it's like amazing how clean these windows are. But what was really neat was a few moments that we got to spend together, just chit-chatting while she was here, and that was a nice connection.
Connie is also very spiritual minded. She gave me a spiritual mind treatment, which got to the clean windows eventually. And she would love to do a program for us here, or even conduct a day-long workshop or something. So we're going to work with Connie and see if she can't be a part of our FOOF family once again. So I'm going to drop this for Connie, and this for Jay, who not only fixed the speakers, but I think fixed our heat pump, so it should be warm in here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have an update on Oliver, the cat that I, put his beautiful picture up here. So I talked to April and David Dumas, and they, Oliver belonged to their granddaughters some time ago, a couple of years ago. So he was raised with a small dog. So this might expand his opportunities for fostering if you have a small dog, Because first I said no other pets in the house, because I didn't know enough about him. So anyway, I'm just saying that, and I'm going to talk to you, Anne, and there's someone else I'm going to speak with about this too. So thank you very much. Any of you that have even considered it or said a little prayer for Oliver, he is a sweet old guy. He's about 8 or 9 years old. Okay. And I'm going to end with one of my favorite quotes. You've heard me say it before, but it's one that strengthens me during these holiday times. It's from Raymond Charles Barker, an old metaphysician from New York. No power anywhere sits in judgment on you. The universe is unconcerned with your mistakes. The creative process, life itself, renews itself constantly and consistently by living through you as your unique self. This process cannot be defeated. It will always win out. And so it is.
So it is.
That's wonderful. So as I alluded to a couple of times, today's message comes from UU Minister Reverend Sarah Skochko. Now, Sarah's not in the audience today. We're going to have the pleasure of seeing her message on our wonderful TV. We hope you'll enjoy this. Her message is short. It's less than 15, 20 minutes. And then maybe a couple of questions she asked that you might want to ponder, because she's talking church and state. This could dredge up questions that you might have. But one of hers is, when have we heard political figures use religious language, and what did they use it for? And how did it make you feel? When have we heard religious communities venerating secular institutions and holidays? Her example is, God Bless America. So listen to this and appreciate the full richness of a UU minister sharing what she thinks is important to talk about at this point in time in our history, church and state.
I didn't even know who else to ask to clean the blood out of the sink at church. I didn't know whose blood it was or what had happened. I had run out into the hallway to try to find them, but whoever it was, they were already gone. And I knew at that moment that a memorial service was taking place down the hall in the sanctuary. All I could think of then was the bereaved family coming into the bathroom for more tissues, only to see this. And so I rinsed the sink out as quickly as I could. It was strange. I thought this was not in my job description. I didn't know if my congregants knew that cleaning blood out of the sink was part of the things they paid me for, but it was. One way or another, someone always pays to clean the blood out of the sink. Something like this happened every day, it seemed. When I had moved to Oregon from Philadelphia, I had been completely unprepared for the sheer scale of human suffering, for the homelessness crisis, the sheer human need that presented at the church every day. An estimated 1,500 people were sleeping outside every night at that point, but the city couldn't afford to provide enough bathrooms or porta potties for everyone. They didn't have enough funding for a low barrier shelter in Eugene or enough beds for drug treatment. And so the elderly members of our Building and Grounds Committee came to clear human waste off the sidewalks before Sunday services. The preschool teachers would check the playground for syringes, and the church installed 3 tiny houses on our property with St. Vincent de Paul to provide a few people, at least a few people, with shelter. One way or another, someone always pays, even if it's not the city. Ideally, the suffering, the vulnerable, the weak would not pay with their lives. And that was part of what our work at the church was about. In my work, I met several unhoused people who had taken the bus to Eugene from other states, from Nevada, California, Idaho, hoping to access better public services, mental health treatment maybe, or even help finding an apartment. Now, this phenomenon was well known in Eugene, and I heard angry neighbors say things like, we should ship them all back to where they came from. Why are we paying taxes for them? I heard people say. This isn't their fault, I would think. Maybe it's Idaho's fault for not having a functioning society. I don't know, I haven't checked. But I began to fantasize about sending Idaho an invoice for the tiny food pantry we installed at church. Maybe Idaho could chip in a few potatoes now and again, at the very least. I began to notice that religious organizations seem to be providing an awful lot of the public services in our city. The city and the state, and I guess the country as a whole, seemingly could not collect enough taxes to provide for those in need. Instead, churches were doing it, using money we collected from our members who also happened to be citizens paying taxes to the city, the state, and the country. Something about that arrangement radicalized me. Late one night, the residents of our tiny houses called me to the church because an unhoused man was harassing and frightening them. They had called the police, but the police didn't come. So in the dark, I went to talk to him, to try to reason with him politely and ask him to leave. You're a hypocrite, he said. With all due respect, he said to me, if I'm living outside, that means you are a failure of a pastor. Where do you want me to go? He asked. Every time I sit down, someone comes and tells me I have to leave, but no one will tell me where I can stay. You want me to walk until I die. You can say it as politely as you want, he said, but you might as well have a gun. You're right, I said. I know I'm a hypocrite. I don't know what else to do. And so I drove another human being into the dark. And the conversation stuck with me. Wasn't it the church's job to alleviate suffering? Wasn't it our job to bring comfort, to show mercy? Yes. And yet it was not our only job. We had worship services to hold on Sundays and classes to teach and rites of passage to officiate to help shepherd people through the stages of their lives. We had other work in this world as well. And even if we had dissolved the church, sold the building, sold all the property inside of it, it would not have been enough to eliminate all of the human need and the suffering in the city of Eugene. It was beyond our capability. It seemed as if so many people were being caught in the cogs of society that we, the church, could not bandage them fast enough. Well, not long after that, I heard someone say that we could solve all of America's social problems if we just taxed the churches. Now, I had heard that argument many times before. I was raised as an atheist, and those were the thought circles that I traveled in for a long time. On that day, something inside me snapped. Tax the churches, I thought. We are taxing the churches. The churches were carrying out the essential functions of the government, but without the government's ability to collect taxes, to raise funds to pay for this stuff, or to make laws. Of course it wasn't enough. How could our work be enough? Someone always pays to clean the blood out of the sink, whether it's in their job description or not. And to the best of my knowledge, no church that I've ever been affiliated with has yet to send an invoice to the government for the social services we have provided. The food banks, the housing, the rent and utility assistance, the rides given to elders, the voter registration drives, the low-cost childcare, each of which represents a failure of the government. Thank God Jesus never said anything about asphalt, because then we would all be responsible for the interstate highway system. And I shudder to think how many bake sales it would take to raise enough money to replace a bridge. Tax the churches, I thought, tax the churches. If money is the problem, maybe we could start by taxing the rich or taxing corporations. When asked about whether the religious community should pay taxes, Jesus famously held up a coin with Caesar's face on it and instructed his followers to render unto Caesar what was Caesar's. Now, his answer has been interpreted in multiple ways. He often spoke cryptically, almost in riddles. A popular interpretation among more fundamentalist and evangelical Christians in America is that Jesus was commanding us to be good citizens, obey laws, pay taxes. But many biblical scholars think differently. Many scholars believe instead that Christ's intention was to be subversive, possibly even going so far as to say that Christians should have so little interaction with the government that they shouldn't be using money minted by the government at all. After all, to a community that gives freely and shares everything in common, what is money? That's Caesar's business. Let Caesar raise his funds from the rich. We do our part. Now, I'm super proud of how religious people of all faiths show up time and time again to fill in the gaps. The fact that 1 in 5 hospitals in this country are religiously affiliated hospitals tells me that secular society is not yet willing or able to provide all the medical care that our people need. But when churches get involved, the implication for things like reproductive and transgender health care are not good. I don't think citizens' access to basic services, the services they have a right to receive as human beings, I don't think their access should be contingent upon the whims of a religious organization. I don't think churches should have an official role in secular society. Now, of course, I believe churches have a big role in society, but an official one that citizens must go through? No. No one should have to go through God to access their rights. Now, I want to pause here because this sermon's about to take such a big detour that a regular segue just would not suffice. To recap, we have been talking about the ways in which religious groups, like ours, right, can inadvertently wind up taking on the responsibilities of the government because someone has to do it. And that's not always good. The flip side of that, if you'll come with me here, is that sometimes the government takes on the role of churches. It was recently Veterans Day. And for my Christian colleagues in particular, those 3 big military holidays, Veterans Day, Memorial Day, and the 4th of July, can be really tricky. A few times a year, I'll hear from one of my Methodist or Baptist colleagues that they just had to explain to their church, once again, why they cannot hang an American flag at the front of the sanctuary for one of those holidays. And it does come as a shock to their congregants, who are used to seeing America conflated with God. Shouldn't Christians also be loyal to their country? Well, there's a lot of debate about that, but a lot of my colleagues feel that the answer is no. No, Christianity is supposed to transcend borders. My kingdom, Jesus said, is not of this world, warning us not to blur the line between a faith in heaven and a faith in the nation, lest we wind up worshiping the wrong God. Christ's love has no nationality, no allegiance to any government or territory. In fact, there is a Christian flag, and it very specifically does not represent any earthly military. Go into all nations, Jesus told his followers, before being executed by the military for undermining his local government. Today in America, there are plenty of Christian groups that refuse to perform military service on behalf of the nation or to swear national oaths like the Pledge of Allegiance. And those groups range from the Jehovah's Witnesses to the Quakers to the Amish. Yet every mainstream church is likely to have veterans who are members, some of whom saw their friends die on the battlefield. And every church has members who are proud of either their own military service or the service of their loved ones. Church is a place that we go to lift up what matters most to us. So of course, people are saddened and disappointed to hear their pastor say that to hang the American flag would be idolatry. Over the past 50 years in America, there has been an intentional blurring between Christianity and patriotism. And I want to tell you that this has been an intentional strategy of the political right to co-opt Christian language in order to solidify and legitimize their power. White evangelicals form the right's strongest base. So even as the right has advocated for lower taxes on the rich and fewer social services provided by the government for the needy, they have done so under the guise of religion. Even as religious organizations have then been forced to pick up the slack and care for the unhoused, the sick, and the hungry as a result of those policies. Someone always pays to clean the blood out of the sink. It is more important than ever, as our nation continues its decades-long slide into fascism, it's more important than ever that we pay attention to the relationship between government and religion. Watch where they overlap, where one takes on the role of the other. When your country's flag is conflated with faith, to carry that flag is to march under the approval of heaven no matter what you're doing. I inevitably think back to how, in 1933, a majority of the German evangelical churches aligned themselves with the Nazi Party. They tied Protestant values to the principles of Nazism. One of the first voices speaking back against that overlap of government and religion was a pastor, the pastor Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Bonhoeffer had just begun to see things from the perspective of the oppressed just a few years earlier, on his trip to America. Studying at seminary in the United States, he was introduced to Black churches in Harlem by a fellow seminarian, and it changed him forever. Here was the real gospel, he thought, the actual message of Jesus. He realized then the failure of mainstream white Christian churches to live out Christ's real message, and how those churches could contort themselves to uphold the status quo of an unjust nation, and to do so religiously. Back in Germany, faced with the rise of Nazism, Dietrich Bonhoeffer declared that it was not enough for the church to keep bandaging victims who kept getting caught beneath the wheel of state oppression. I am a spoke in the wheel itself, Bonhoeffer said. He broke away from the German evangelical church, founded a new church that opposed Nazism, and guided by faith, he became active in the resistance against his own government. He was executed in 1945, but his writing had an incredible impact on both religion and civil rights, and on me. My understanding of how churches function in relationship to the state, the government, was changed by reading Bonhoeffer's work. And I'm mindful now that when we take on what is not ours, we still hold our government accountable for what it has failed to do. Even though our food bank might be awesome, and I'm proud of it, and our work is good, and I'm proud of that too. I'm mindful also not to accidentally venerate or reinforce secular authority through the church, not the legislature, not the police, not the military, not the nation itself. Because I do believe that the kingdom of our concern as religious people is without borders. In the words of Vincent B. Silliman, let religion be to us life and joy. Let it be a voice of renewing challenge to the best we have and can be. Let it be a call to generous action. Let religion be to us a dissatisfaction with things that are, which bid us serve more eagerly the true and the right. Amen and blessed be.
Community partner, here we are, doing the work of maybe someone else that should be doing it. But this is a nonprofit organization, and they provide, oh, thank you, Mark, I appreciate that. They provide wonderful stuff, KXCR. I'm going to ask Tuvia to come forward, just say a few things about KXCR for those who don't know, and a refresher for those who might. So, Tuvia.
KXCR is a radio station. And have you seen the fancy radios they have in these new cars? They've got loudspeakers and they've got Sirius coming from satellites. Which leads to the question, how many of you have radios in your homes?
Yes.
Well, guess what? KXCR is in your home because it's on your computer. All you have to do is Google KXCR and you are going to have the most amazing website, which gives everything, including the weather and everything else like that, and also a complete forum of all their speakers and all of their programs. And to know more, you just Google each one of those and you'll know more about each speaker. But you also can listen to KXCR in your home, on your smartphone, wherever there is technology. KXCR is there for you and for me.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, KXCR, they've got some wonderful programming. Turn on your radio as you're doing your work around the house and listen to some wonderful programs. And then there's FOOF, then there's us, and how we ask for you to consider your gift to this particular fellowship so we can continue to keep the windows clean and not have to rely on the kindness of folks in the community. We've got remodeling coming up. We have all kinds of things, and we want to make sure that we keep that front door open for those who want to be here and get what you are getting. So I'm going to pass a basket around. On one side it says KXCR, on the other it says Florence UU Fellowship. I'll ask, Xana, will you help on this side? And Tuvia, will you help on that side?
I thought you wanted music while the...
Oh, they're going to do music. Tuvia's going to do music while we pass the basket. Oh, I get so excited with all of this. So, yeah, again, KXCR, Florence UU Fellowship. I ask for your generous gifts to one or both, as Tuvia plays little lovely music. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Enjoy the music.
It's a little bit easier with this thing up. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue, clouds of white, where is the day and the dark say goodnight, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands saying, what do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn so much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Oh, we do have fun, don't we?
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Your offerings are received in grateful appreciation. So, who would like to extinguish the chalice? Ashley, come. It's easier than lighting it.
Well, then I should do it.
Tuvia, when do I have you down for singing? Right now?
Whenever you want.
It's in the order of service. When do we have
Yeah, I
the,
think
is it now?
before we, don't let the light go out.
Well, don't, no.
Hanukkah.
I know. So I think you need to do your Hanukkah song now, right?
Yeah.
Hanukkah song. So, and
Getting mixed signals here.
step away from the flame.
It's coming.
It's coming. So it's first night of Hanukkah, so we've got two of you that's going to sing a Hanukkah song. Next week we have Mark Levy, who's in the back. He's going to do a Hanukkah song on the last night of Hanukkah. So we got it on both sides, so take it away, two of you.
You know, when you're a kid and you're in 5th grade and you're Jewish and you're going to be bar or bat mitzvah, you end up in Hebrew school after a long day of school, which allowed me another hour and a half to daydream. But one day Mrs. Weinstein said, boys and girls, Cantor Altshuler is going to be having a Hanukkah choir. Those of you who would like to participate may now leave. And we're all out the door. Cantor Altshuler is one of my all-time favorite cantors. May he rest in peace. He was jolly. He had red, rosy cheeks. He was a wonderful Santa Claus kind of a cantor. And when he sang, the walls shook. And so I'll never forget that song that he taught us, one of my favorite Hanukkah songs, Rock of Ages. I'll sing it in English, and then I'll sing it in Hebrew. Rock of Ages, let our song praise thy saving power. Thou amidst the raging foes was our sheltering tower. Glorious they assailed us, but thine arm availed us, and thy word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. Oz and Kor, Bashir, Mizmor, Tanuchat, Amispeah, Mahon, Sur, Yeshuati, Dechana'eh, Deshabeah, Tichon Beit Tafilati, V'sham Todah Nitzabeah, V'nei Pa'in Matabeah, Mitzar Havnabeah, Azemor, Bashir, Mizmor, Tanuchat, Hamispeah, Azemor, Bashir, Mizmor, Tanuchat, Hamispeah, Hanukkah, Hamispeah.
Yes, we celebrate all faiths, don't we?
Yes.
And all voices. Thank you, two of you. That was delightful.
Yes.
Ashley, would you like to help extinguish the chalice?
Sure.
Yeah, sure, I'm sure. These words come from Melissa Jeter, titled Growing Out of Our Comfort. We extinguish this chalice today, but we are illuminated by a faith that allows us to sit and think. In this quiet time, we can reflect in solitude, meditating on love, and growing out of our comfort. Though we experience discomfort, we are excited to give birth to a new, just world. Amen and blessed be. Closing words from Adrian Rich. My heart is moved by all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have to cast my lot with those who, age after age, perversely, with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world. I ask you now to join me in a big circle around the chairs. We're going to sing our peace song. Tubi's going to lead that one as well. We thank him for his gifts of music And then afterwards, remember, we're going to stay and we're going to decorate and celebrate our holiday food tree. I have my ornament ready. I don't know if anybody else brought theirs, but mine's pretty special. Everybody around, you don't have to hold hands if you don't want to. Just gather in a circle. All masks on, we're going to say.
Minutes to do it.
Holiday tree!